Ali Abdaal is an online creator who earns $5 million per year and has over 3 million YouTube subscribers. I recently paid good money to be personally coached by him for 5 weeks, and in this video, I'm going to share exactly what he told me to do so you can go and execute that in your online coaching or education business too. So the program I was in was called Part-Time YouTuber Academy, and I joined the executive tier, which was about $6,000, which meant that I got to talk to him in a very small group twice a week. And so I really picked his brain because I was like, what is the blueprint to building an online business like the one you have, where you have millions of followers, you make millions of dollars, and you make this huge impact on the world? Now, if you don't know me, my name is Brian Elwood. I'm a real estate investor and an online coach and the author of Nail Your Niche. I help coaches, consultants, experts grow their businesses and make more money online while making a bigger difference in the world. So in order to break down what Ali taught me, let's go back to the fundamentals of business. In order to grow a business, you need leads. Imagine if you had 10 people every day messaging you saying, hey, do you have a coaching program? Do you have a way where we can work together? That would pretty much solve every problem in your business, wouldn't it? So we have to work up to that, but it all starts with publishing content consistently on at least one platform. I'm sure you know that, but one thing I learned from Ali is that YouTube is the gold standard of all the different platforms where you can create content. It's the one platform where it's the hardest to grow a big following, and when you have a big following, you get the biggest payoff for it. He also taught us that YouTube is a long-term strategy, which means you need to be committed to publishing a weekly video for at least 2 years before you're really gonna see a huge payoff. And then there's other platforms like Instagram or TikTok where it's a more quick turnaround, more of a shorter term strategy, and you can get leads from those platforms faster. And so what he recommended was that you do one long form video on YouTube every week, and then you also create one short from that same video, and then the short can be published on YouTube as a short, as well as Instagram as a reel, and then also on TikTok. Now, one other thing Ali recommended strongly to us was to build a Twitter following. In fact, he said that out of the 300 or so sales that he made for his program, 50 of them came from Twitter, and then 300 came from email, and just a handful of them came from Instagram. But that was something I had to sort of table and put to the side because I didn't want to try to implement too many things at once. I've done that so many times, and it's really a recipe for failure, but it's definitely something that's in my parking lot to work on when I have a chance. But ultimately, Ali's advice is to grow an audience. And then over time, the cumulative audience that you build between all the different platforms is going to produce enough leads to grow and sustain your business. And that brings me to a second important point, because when you think about leads, it's like, well, where does this lead capture thing actually happen? And what Ali taught is that when you have all that social platforms at the top, they're all ultimately pointing towards your lead magnets, like saying, hey, I got this free 5-day course, or I've got this free training you can get here. So the content points to those lead magnets, and in exchange for those free resources, you get people's email, because that was another one of Ali's big points, is everybody should be growing an email list. Ali has a weekly newsletter he sends an email to once a week. He said that in order for a sponsor to get a spot on his newsletter, they got to pay $5,000. So he recommended having a weekly email newsletter as well, and that's something that I have implemented in my business. And that newsletter is where you add more value to people. You can point them back to your YouTube videos because some of them might not have seen it, and you can have a call to action with your booking link to say, hey, I have a coaching program that does XYZ. Click here to book a call with me to see if it would be a good fit for you. So that's the very high level overview of what I learned from working with Ali personally for 5 weeks. And I want to leave you with one final pro tip when it comes to recording your videos that will make a huge difference, and that is batching. So today, for example, it might look like I'm just recording this one video, but I'm actually recording 4 videos today, and I spent time coming up with the ideas, outlining them, practicing the outlines, and then now I just set up my cameras and I sit down and boom, I record everything all in one sitting. It is so much more efficient than trying to do it like, what am I going to record this week? What am I going to record this week? Just try not to do it that way for long. You can as a beginner, but when you can get a system for batching your videos, that is where the magic happens. That's where you get tons of ROI on the time you're putting in, and you end up with a ton of free time that you can use to do the real thing you need to be doing if you're new in this online education space, which is getting into conversation with the people who might become your ideal client. So once you have your 4 videos for the month queued up on YouTube, you can spend the next 3 weeks or whatever, like actually messaging people, emailing people, doing Zoom calls, and proposing to work with people, which is really the only way you're gonna make money as a beginner. And the content game of getting leads from that is more of a longer term play. Now, one other thing that coaches endlessly struggle with when they're trying to figure out their business is trying to define who their ideal client is. And I made this video to explain exactly how you can do that. Check that out here, and thank you guys for watching.